Hello everybody, today I will show you this one game which is absolutely impossible to win. And I am again playing against my online friend NADF. NADF is a very capable player, one of the best on the server. And let's see what we have. We both use random, with me being sent to be playing Cuba and he's being sent to play Germany. Now, Cuba and Germany are not popular. Many people do not choose it because the special units that they give are kind of useless. So it is going to be a match of just Allied basic units with no special add-ons versus Soviet with no special add-ons. At the bottom left is me playing Cuba, and we are trying to spread out our buildings so that we can take the gem and the ore on both sides. And he's doing the same. You'll soon see that his playing is very quick and efficient, and he will be able to have twice as much number of tanks that I get. See, he is also putting his building to the right to get closer to the gemstones. The gems, which is the colorful ones, are twice as much worth as the golden ones. So in the beginning of this match, we are just sending the dogs to scout out the maps, and you can see already that his dog has already taken over the fate of my scout. That means I cannot see what's going on at his base, whereas his dogs soon comes to my base and sees everything that has been going on. Okay. At this point, we have built our war factories, and I sent out this terror drone to kill all the scouts, scouting dogs that he's got. It's not going to be too much of a worth, but eventually the dogs can be helped in the tank fights because the dogs are cheaper and they attract the firing of the tanks. So having a bunch of dogs around actually helps to reduce damage that you've received on that your tanks will receive. So for equal number of tanks, actually the one with some more dogs are likely to be winning. He has produced 4 miners, 2 from each ore refinery, and 2 coming from 1 from each ore refinery and 2 coming from the factory, and he starts building tanks immediately. So he is having this kind of a rush move with 4 ore miners. Meanwhile, I have also produced 4 ore miners, and let's see, because I'm playing against Allied, which has the control dominance of the air, I have produced this flak truck for anti-air just in case that he rushes rocketeers. Okay, we see that he is going to, now that I've seen that he's going to quickly start producing tanks, I am using my terror drone to eat up some of his tanks so as to reduce the pace of his attack. I'm still producing ore miners, so I have 5. So ideally speaking, if I just manage to play, if I start producing tanks now and I keep on using 5 miners, fighting against, he also has got 5 miners. So usually the one with more miners will have a long-term advantage because your economy is better. So now this guy, our opponent, has 5 tanks already, and he sends 4 of them coming to attack via the bottom right path, whereas 2 of them are staying at his base. At this point, as he is attacking, I only have 2 tanks. I'm slowed down, 3 tanks now. I'm slowed down because I have produced a flak truck, and also because he is just better at developing his initial stages than I do. So already I am at a disadvantage. See, the 4 tanks are all that I've got, but 4 tanks for him, well, that's just a subset of all he's got. He has 4 tanks at his base also. At least at the moment, these 4 tanks, which are Grizzlies, are not going to be able to get an advantage over my 4 tanks. And also because I'm nearer the base and I have some base defense that can be helped. It can be used to help in tank fights. But we already can see that his economic advantage and developmental speed is rather dominating. It's very much having a good edge over me. Let me see. So he has 6 miners now and 2 factories. In contrast, I have 2 factories and I only have 5 miners. So I am behind on almost everything. Also, you see, my left side of my ores is coming to an end. So one has to start producing places, expanding our base of mining. Otherwise, soon your economy won't be able to keep up. Once these things dry out, we may have to go to a very far away sources of golden ore for more resources. This game is very much a game about competing in both the management of resources and military might. You can't just have a lot of tanks and focus on tank fights without having all the economic bases behind. We can see that his development is pretty good. He has taken up this field of ores and he's now eating up this one, and soon he will be having the 3rd one. Very smooth development. Meanwhile, I have eaten up 1 region. The 2nd region is not so easy because it's kind of spread out. And then the 3rd one, I haven't even started, whereas he is already taking up with his next mine ore refinery being placed down there. Once again, he's sending his tanks to put pressure on me. This is this is good. My Terra drone take 2 of his tanks, but actually I am still behind. Now there are 3 areas in which he is putting pressure on me. From bottom right, from the middle, and later he will also be pressurizing me from top left. And it will not be easy to defend against these when he also has some air force coming in. That would require your 4 sides of a reaction. See here, how many tanks he's got? He's got 9 tanks, and I only have 4. If he attacks now, maybe I'll be at a clear disadvantage. So I quickly sent my tanks down here to line up a line of defense. I only have 2 now. Come on, put your tanks, draw your tanks here. Don't let him get something out of it. You see, just 1 battle, and I think he's almost taking down 1 miner. Just 1 blood remaining. If he just kills this one, it's going to be a great blow on my economic defense. Here he sends another 3 to attract my attention, and his tanks, although thinner than mine, is more mobile. So he can come in, draw your attention, fake an attempt, and pulls out. So at this point, this part of ore is completely dried out. We are going very far away, which means that the mining efficiency is very low. And he has just started using this part of the golden ores. So I now see his air force has just been trained, and that's going to give me some further pressure. Note that he has some GIs to defend against his factory so that it's not easy to be stolen by engineers. Okay, so at this point he is giving another pressure from the middle, and you see I'm just being squeezed in this tiny region, and I don't have a lot of good places to keep the economy going. It's pretty terrible. Both sides of my miners are going very far to dig, whereas his ones are doing not bad here. Later, he's going to get something even more precious, which is the middle part of the gem, and I had no capacity to compete against him. Here comes another round of attack. His number of tanks is way overnumbering me, and he knows very strategically that he needs to be focusing on this region because it's hurting my economy. If my miners cannot smoothly be taking down the resources, then it will be my tank supplies will not be able to keep up. Here he uses I forgot that I still have air defense, so his air force is his Rocketeers, which are based on Iron Man, right? The Iron Mans are killing my drones and tanks, and it's being pretty hurtful. He is focusing on the drones. Now the drones move quick and can be cheap and can be a good line of defense against his tanks, but my drones are dying. Already, this is a veteran status. If his Iron Mans turn into elite status, that would be very difficult to deal with. So I am at the great risk of being just completely destroyed by him. I am still trying to give this region of ore. I have to take it because I have nothing left. I mean, I'm already going such a long way to take the ore from that side. And now all his tanks are on top, and there are two ways of attack. And I have to decide whether to defend here or there or separate my forces. And it will be very difficult to separate forces when you are already behind in terms of the number of tanks. Let's see what he's doing at his base. 3-4 ore factories and pretty good economic management. Now here is something that he's not doing right. He should send his miners to this side and instead of traveling such a long way. But his number of ore miners is outnumbering me, and he is controlling the top part of my resources. So I only have this batch to mine. If I lose this, then I won't be able to keep up. And now furthermore, my electricity is being affected by his 3 Rocketeers. It's pretty annoying when you always have alarm in your ear saying your base is under attack. Okay, he finally puts his miners here, and this is going to give him another economic boost. Well, this is not so efficient, but given that he is leading, I mean, even if we ignore those 2 miners, he still has 5. Whereas 5, I think I only got 5. I also have 2 that's not doing very efficiently. Okay, so I have produced some dogs, but I forgot to control them to have them line up with the tanks. See, after his pressuring, I have to separate my tanks into 2 halves. 1 half here and 1 half there. Because, see, his tanks are divided into different regions. Some coming this way, some coming that way. And all of these are putting me at this precarious position defending against his multiple lines of attack. While he takes up the $60,600 worth of gem in the middle. Soon he will be taking up all of them, and I won't even be able to get any of those. So you see the disadvantages has been pretty big. What should I do after these golds have dried out is a question that one needs to ponder upon. So let's see. With 4 factories, his number of tanks is going to be way outnumbering me when I no longer have the resources. At the moment, I have 5 factories, and my number of tanks may not be that behind. I mean, my tanks are a little bit more expensive, so the ratio of 8 to 9 is ordinary. But once again, if I have to stop my tank production to produce anti-air defense, that will further reduce the number of tanks that I've got. Look at how many tanks he's got. It's amazing how many he's got compared to the little batch that I've got. So here I felt that I must keep producing, digging out for new base positions. My goal is to find out if I can take the resources in these two regions. If I get that, then there's still some basis for further economic development. Otherwise, I'm losing already. I mean, look at this. The money dries up very quickly. Whereas with his 7 minus, even if he just sends 3 to dig the one in the middle, he's going to have a great advantage in terms of a number of tanks. If I were him, I would use double T to send all the minus in the middle. That would be even more. This is another mistake that I've got. I wasted so many drones just to attack one tank. When his tanks are in a congregated position, not moving at all, it is not a good idea to use drones to attack. Well, he has also made a mistake because he didn't call his Rocketeers, so he lost 2 Rocketeers. So this is the moment where I have decided that I've got to do something. I produced 8 tanks to attack his base. It's not going to be very devastating because, I mean, he's controlled the economy in the middle. But still, I try to do it because he is busy focusing on building up his base in the middle, and he has to figure out if he wants to pull his army back to defend against this tiny batch. And his decision is to send 4 Rocketeers to defend against my tanks. And that's a blow. I'm killing a number of war factories. Here, I have not moved so well. If I quickly move to attack the factory there, maybe I'll be able to kill another factory. Okay, so after spending 5 tanks to kill his war factories, you realize that he still has 3 war factories left. And the number of tanks that I've got is going to be way outnumbered by him still. See, these are 9 tanks. And this must be almost 100, maybe at least 50, right? Whereas I only have so many. His number of tanks is twice the tanks that I have. And I don't have a lot of chances left. So what am I going to do? What I'm going to do is that there's no way that I'm going to win this tank battle, no matter what. And so I try to avoid him. But as I avoid him, he's killing all my miners. I am not going to survive this round if I just let him kill all my miners. My economies will be devastated. I won't be able to keep up. So what I do is that I just trade base with him, right? And here he made a mistake of trading base with me. Why? Because when you are in an advantage, you should not trade base with me. So here I am. I sent all my tanks just to... I didn't send these ones. These ones are hidden in the trees to give him a little bit of resistance. I sent all my... majority of my tanks to kill his base and attacked. Whereas I just leave these ones behind for him to kill off. So a trick is that I will be producing terror drones soon, because terror drones is the defense against base trade. Here he is a little hesitating. He hasn't decided whether he wants to go home to defend or trade base with me. Another trick that he can do is that he can separate into different teams to trade base. And soon I will be doing that. So I have a number of tanks, and a good idea is to actually separate them so that they can kill the buildings faster. So you see, when you have all the tanks attacking one target, the ones behind are not doing anything. It's kind of a waste. Given that his tanks are nimble, it's more advantageous if he produces several regions. So see, all his tanks behind are just lining up. If he can send another brigade to attack my right hand side, then he will be at a faster rate of killing my buildings. So let's see. He has a few buildings left, and he is producing GIs to defend. He has also 2 buildings in the middle. At the moment, he is still outnumbering my tanks, but see how inefficient his tanks are. He can actually use several different brigades. You see, all these tanks are not doing anything. And I'm producing terror drones in defense. So now he has 5 buildings on top left and a field in the middle. And I made the decision that I'm going to send 2 brigades, separate my tanks into 2 halves. One to attack the middle, one to attack the top right. Here he has completely finished my base at the bottom left, and I only have 4 buildings left. What am I going to do? So he has 1 building, 3 buildings left, 2 buildings left, and I have 4 left. Seems like I'm going to win. Okay. So I would just say that even though he was at a clear advantage, maybe my base is a little bit more spread out, but I think had he chosen to not trade base with me, he would be definitely winning this match. So that's just one small strategic decision that made all the difference, even though throughout the game he has been leading by massive margins. See you next time.